Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach and I'm going to pick up from where I last left off, which I did 2 episodes with Alan when I was down in VS Live Orlando. So I finally feel like, because it's Thursday night right now, and I got back yesterday, and now I'm finally feeling much calmer. A couple things, my hard drive, not on my computer, but I have an external drive. It was starting to act kind of flaky. And I thought, well, that sucks, because that's where all my code examples and all this other stuff is. Basically, all my content, all my programs and everything are installed on the C drive, but then all my file content is on that. Videos, pictures, which I had up, and that's all pretty much saved. So it wasn't like, feeling like it was going to be a major disaster, but I still was a little because I'm like, I'm glad I checked Sunday night. Tip: always check before you go on stage. Do some last minute or last test beforehand, and make sure that everything is still good. Things can still happen on stage. That's a given. But try to have some plan Bs or things like that in place. So I had another external drive in my bag, older one, so I copied enough over there, and that seemed to work. But then that one was acting a little weird. So I'm like, what in the world's going on here? So then I finally copied just enough over to the actual C drive for my presentations, which is fine. It didn't, it was a minor nuisance, but it wasn't that big of a deal. I was able to last night take my main external drive, copy the contents we just bought a desktop computer for my family, copied it all there, and then I went to Micro Center and got a new one. And so far it seems to be working, but I'm still not ruling out it might be something with my computer itself, though my mic and my other monitor over here, they all go through USB, my keyboard mouse does, and they're all on ports and they're fine. So I don't know. If this drive starts acting a little weird, then I'd be like, something's up with my computer. But I got all the Dell, because it's a Dell. I've got all the drivers and everything updated and made sure of that. So we'll just go with this, and move on from there. So that was one thing, and just the work that it took to get everything done for Orlando was a lot. Doing a whole new course on a tour of Visual Studio 2019, which I think went okay. The course, the first time I did it, I think it started good. The debugging section, I felt like that could be a little beefier. The extensibility section, I want to do it, but man, I'm not an expert on it, and it's really starts getting beyond because it's not easy. I think it's not an easy place to create extensions, so it can kind of be a little overwhelming. But be as it may, that's no big deal. Learned a couple things. I think I learned about pacing and what to shore up for next time. Definitely spent some time on the debugger section. I'm glad I did notes. Usually I don't do notes for talks, but that one I did. There was just so much to go through, and I didn't want to miss anything or lose my place, and it's so demo driven. I wanted to make sure I had all the things laid out as to what I was going to do. So it didn't help that my file placement was getting a little not where I expected things to be, but I think it went okay. Definitely things to learn for at least next 2 times that I do it next year. So it just was a lot of work. And then when I came home, I still had to worry about my hard drive, the external one, but now feels like we're back to normal, so to speak. So that's good. And every time I was down in Orlando, Anytime I go out for dinner, there's a couple times where I just didn't want to drink. I didn't want to have a beer or whatever, and and I would say, "Hey, can I have a root beer?" And nobody had anything. I'm like, "What the hell?" How do you not even just, they had soda, and I'm not big on soda. It's just occasionally, as a little treat, I'm like, I like a root beer, and nobody had anything. So I found one in the fridge. I'm like, I'm going to have a root beer to cleanse the palate, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if I caught a cold, but I definitely caught something with my throat. So, great. But be that as it may, this task, I realized too late that I put a lot into it, but that's okay, because there's potentially, there's a bunch to do for this one yet, but we're going to go at one step at a time. So I think this one is fixed. I also, by the way, when I was showing off how to build an analyzer for Visual Studio, I mean, it's an analyzer in general, just you can make it work in Visual Studio, that one of mine has a bug. The code fix renders the new code correctly. It just does, like, in an odd case, it does something weird. So, but I love that. I was on stage. I'm like, yes, I actually found a bug. I actually do like, I do like finding bugs and then going, how did that happen? Because it's kind of a challenge. So I think with this one, we're going to just make sure that we got all the good unit tests around this thing. So we're going to come in here, and we're going to say tests. And we're going to make sure, because again, I think he uses the good old MS Test. Yeah, I'll move my mic over just a little bit there. Okay. Makes me sad. Whoops. Okay, so that's a code fix. What do I do for all my tests? Yeah, fine. Just gonna put that one in here. And then we do this and that. Usage. I think this is an error. I'll get off of that. There you go. Okay, so now we have to do the song and dance of looking at what does this do. So it's got to be a business rule. So I think that's kind of what this one does. It says, when not a mobile object. How about when not a business rule? It's not a business rule. Okay. And how do we determine that? That's from this extension method, which we also need tests around. It has to inherit from business rule. Okay, so you don't know what a task is, huh? Good for you. So that would be this case. And that too. Okay. So then we do this, grab that. We shouldn't have anything. Now we ratchet it up where it is a business rule. Don't need that. It is a business rule. That's right. Is that? Oh yeah, that would be okay. I was just had to, it's actually right now like 20 to 8. My younger son was up late last night. He just couldn't get to sleep, so he conked out pretty early. And my other son, I think, is almost falling asleep now too. So they tend to be early risers and go to sleep fairly early than other kids, but just who they are. And I didn't really have when I was copying over all the files, I wanted to make sure that I got to at least one final point, and then I let it run for the rest of the night. So I stayed up kind of late, and I got up early for my flight, so I'm like, good, I get to put in 2 or 3 shows tonight. And then I'm going to go to bed, read, and conk out, and hopefully get a good night's sleep. So anyway, so it might be, we'll see how many I can do tonight, because I'm kind of tired. How many times have I said that? It's better to do these in the morning than it is the evening, but be that as it may. Okay, so I need a... Oh, so you can... Duh. I'm sorry, I'm being an idiot. So we want... What do we do in the other test? Start doing, yeah, that. So I need CSLA, right? Yep. Using CSLA... Public class A, that derives from my business rule. Actually, I'm not sure that that's correct, because if I say public class A derives from my business rule, I think it's from a different namespace, if I remember right. Yes, CSLA rules. Okay, so... Okay, and then we need to say... Now, this is interesting because if I did say this as an actual thing, okay, then I come here. Okay, you can't do that there. So let's just do that. And then we have to say implement. Oh my God. Oh, jeez. Jiminy crickets. That's right. I think we can do one better. I think we could actually say that and then override. Oh, so that's okay. So you don't have to override that. That would be weird to not have a never mind. It'd be weird to write a rule like this that has no way to say, to actually do something. But for what I need, this is actually fine because I just need to say I am a rule, but I don't have the method yet. It does not override execute. There we go. And yes, I remember with these, you had to say in the constructor that the rule is async because then CSLA knows to handle it in an async fashion. I forgot about that. It's been a while. Okay, so now we've got that, and now we want to say Alex and overrides execute. And is not async. So I should have just kept this code up there. Because if I want to override it, oh God, bless you. Bless your heart. Alright, so I'll keep this up here for now. Execute, there you go. Is not async. So we could say something exactly like that beautiful code, right? Right. That works for me. That's good enough. That's nice. What is rule context? CSLA. Okay, so that should be good. Okay, and then we want to say, what's the next one? Where it is async. Well, what was I thinking here? there, hold on. There should be a business rule async. Because then there is no override here. Override execute async, which would be that. Okay, so in the case where you said you're just a business rule, what we're trying to find is, you can't say that, right? Yeah, it won't let you do that. Yep, because they have to match. Okay, so what we're looking for is if you have a business rule that's asynchronous. So the return type shouldn't really matter. We just want to see if it's an async method. So I don't think that that's actually needed. I think that would be good enough. And is async. Because that we're trying to get this to be a business rule async. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so in that case, it's going to yell because it's going to say it doesn't have a weight, but that's okay. Okay in the sense that it's kind of wrong. We can say something like await task dot yield just purely for code like compilation correctness, which makes sense. Totally makes sense. Though in here now I have to say using system dot threading dot tasks. There we go. And now we have the case where we actually have something wrong. What we have wrong is asynchronous business rule inheritance. Alrighty, let's run some rules. Let's run some tests. I should have just run the tests in this this class, but I wasn't thinking. Stinking thinking. Ooh, 1 failed, 2 failed. Yay. Way to go, Jason. You suck. Horrible person, and you should know that you're horrible. Yeah. I get it. Okay, well that should be... Oh, so that one's probably... Yeah, that one's wrong. So that one's a good... That's an easy one. Okay. And is async. So why did that fail? No, we need to be in debug. Let's just come here. And let's see why. Why? Okay. So, well, at least don't have diagnostics, so that's good. So what's some other symbols? Name, is it async? It's not. It is not. Well, let's look at the code I put in there. I may have forgotten to do that. See, that's a diagnostic. That's a diagnostic, isn't it? Was on the method. Yeah, well, shoot. I think what I would actually need to do is method node get diagnostics. And it has none? Really? But it's not. How can you say await on an override? Because I'm an idiot. That doesn't make any... It's supposed to be async. It's not supposed to say await there. Yay! Okay. That was the problem. I'm a moron. Alright, so I think we got all the testy goodness in. Let's just run all of them again. Then we can move on to the code fix. That needs tests. So we're going to go to extensions. I type symbol extensions, which I type symbol extensions tests. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Yay. Okay. So I should have tests in here for all the good things, right? So we should say is business rule business rule for type and is not a business rule. Is business rule. No, business rule. Look at what you're typing. And then this becomes that is a business rule, excuse me. It's the root beer. It's making me all burpy. Business rule. And now this should be as true. All the tests. I have these running as a parallel. Good. And I think that just meant it's good. Okay. Did it? Well, okay, so it says it all passed, but you're still doing a spinny thing. What is the, I keep forgetting, what is the thing to say collapse all? Oh, so there is no... Jerk. needs to have a keyboard shortcut. I think that would be right. It is amazing, by the way, when I went to buy this external hard drive. The other one I had was a 4 terabyte. I decided just to get a 2. I don't know why. I just forgot what the size was, but it is amazing. It was like $60 or $70. And I'm sitting there thinking, back in my day when I was in high school and college, like having a 30 or 50 megabyte hard drive was like, whoa, and how much that cost. And now we're like, oh yeah, there's just a 2 terabyte one, or get a 4, whatever. Like 4 terabytes, It is insane. It is ridiculous. Ridiculously awesome is what it is. It amazes me that we can actually have that much stored on basically something that can just fit in the palm of my hand. Terabytes of data. Okay, so this is... That's okay. It's with the chair because we don't call complete. That comes later. No, add calls, that comes later. This one is saying... Should derive from. So here's the thing, what we're going to want it to do. I got to get a code fix in for this. What the code fix should do is say public class async, then make this a task, and make this say async. And then you're done. That's what we want it to do. So we need it to change the base type. We need to change the return value. And we need to change the name of the method to execute async. and that's what the code fix is going to do. So that is going to be done in one more episode. I'll give the code fix a whirl, and we'll see if I can get that done. So thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.